everyone in second lecture of week 2. Today we explore the impact and legacy of futurist architecture. This lecture is not about counting buildings designed by the futurists because very few buildings were actually constructed. Instead, it examines how their ideas traveled across generations and transformed architectural thinking. Throughout this session, we will see that visionary drawings, manifestos, and theoretical proposals often influence the profession more deeply than completed buildings. As we move through the lecture, we will notice how different architects borrowed selected futurist principles and adapted them to their own cultural, technological, and social context. By the end of this lecture, we will understand why futurism remains significant within architecture history, despite its limited physical legacy. Today's lecture is organized into three major parts, followed by a critical conclusion. First, we will briefly revisit the central philosophy of futurism and understand why its influence becomes much greater than a physical achievement. Next, we will study important buildings that demonstrate the continued influence of futurist thinking. Although these architects belong to different generations and countries, many adopted futurism fascination with movement, technology, speed, flexibility, and industrial expression. Then we will examine futurism impact on architectural theory and education. We will discover how universities, critics, and visionary architects preserved futurist idea long after the movement itself disappeared. Finally, we will conclude with the critical assessments. Every influential movement has strengths and weaknesses. Therefore, our objective is not simply to celebrate futurism, but to understand both its remarkable achievements and its limitations. Now we arrived at the central paradox of futurism. This slide asks a very simple but profound question. A movement with almost no buildings, yet enormous influence. How? Think about this for a moment. Normally, architectural history celebrates completed buildings. We study Parthenon because it exists. We admire the Taj Mahal because it was built. We analyze falling water because we can visit it. But futurism is different. Many of its most celebrated architectural works never progressed beyond drawings. Antonio Santella, one of the movement's most visionary architects, imagined enormous cities filled with elevated transportation systems, layered circulations, and massive infrastructure and dynamic forms. His famous project, La Città Nuova, or the New City, was never constructed. Yet, these drawings inspired architects for decades afterwards. Why? Because futurism introduced a completely new way of imagining the city. Instead of viewing cities as static collections of buildings, futurists imagined them as a constantly changing machines. They believed cities should evolve continuously. Buildings should not last forever. Technologies should always replace outdated systems. Movement, speed, energy, electricity, transportation, and industry become architectural design principles. Futurists proved that architecture can influence society through imagination. Drawings become intellectual tool capable of challenging accepted ideas. Although these concepts sounded radical in the early 20th century, many of them are surprisingly familiar today. Modern airports, smart transportation systems, high-speed rail, mega infrastructure, responsive buildings, digital cities. These ideas all shape philosophical connection with futurist thinking. This changed architectural culture because speculative work acquired academic value instead of being dismissed as fantasy. Having understood this paradox, let us now examine how futurist idea influenced some of the greatest architects of the 20th century. Interestingly, many of these architects did not identify themselves as futurists. However, they adopted several futurist principles and transformed them into practical architecture. Architectural movements rarely disappear completely. Instead, they evolve. Ideas migrate from one generation to another. Futurism is an excellent example of this process. Even after the movement declined following the First World War, its concept survived through later architects who admired technological innovation, structural expression, urban transformation, and modern industrial society. Rather than copying futurist design directly, these architects absorbed selected ideas and reinterpreted them according to new social, economic, and technological context. This demonstrates that architectural influence is rarely direct. Instead, it resembles a conversation across generations. Each architect inherits ideas, modifies them, rejects some aspects, strengthens others, and creates something entirely new. Today, we will examine several examples of these architecture dialogues. Our first example is Le Corbusier. Le Corbusier translated visionary urban imagery into systematic planning. One of his most famous urban proposals is Plan Voisin, developed in 1925 for central Paris. Plan Voisin borrowed the ambition and scale associated with Saint Elias, but organized these ideas using rational grid, zoning, and standardization. His proposal demonstrated how visionary concept could become planning principle. Although later criticized for its treatment of existing urban fabric, the project profoundly influenced modern planning and post-war development. Le Corbusier proposed demolishing large sections of historical Paris and replacing them with orderly clusters of tall towers surrounded by green open spaces. At first glance, this appears very different from Saint Elias' expressive sketches. However, both architects shared several important beliefs. Both believed cities should embrace the future instead of preserving the past. Both viewed technology as a driving force of urban development. Both considered transportation system essential component of city planning. Both imagined cities operating efficiently like machines. However, there were also important differences. Saint Elias celebrated dynamic movement, energy, and visual dynamism. However, Le Corbusier preferred geometric orders, functional planning, and rational organization. In other words, Saint Elias imagined cities full of excitement and motion, while Le Corbusier imagined cities based on discipline and efficiency. Despite these differences, both architects rejected historical imitation and sought to redefine urban life through modern technology. It is also important to evaluate Plan Voisin critically. Although visionary, the proposal required demolition of large areas of historical Paris. Today, many urban historians argue that such large-scale redevelopment would have destroyed value culture, heritage, and displaced existing communities. This reminds us that visionary architecture must always balance innovation with social responsibility. Our second architect is Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Unlike the dramatic imagery of futurism, Mies is famous for simplicity. His philosophy expressed through the phrase less is more, focused on clarity, precision, and structural honesty. So, where do we see futurism? Or the influence of futurist, the connection lies not in the appearance but in attitude. Both Mies and the futurist admire modern industry. Both believed architecture should express the technologies of its own time. Mies achieved this by exposing steel structures, using large glass surfaces, and eliminating unnecessary ornamentation. His buildings reveal how they are constructed. Nothing is hidden. This principle is often described as structural honesty. While futurists Architects often celebrate technology through expressive forms and dramatic drawings. Mies celebrated technology through elegant simplicity. Mies van der Rohe adopted industrial modernity through discipline rather than spectacles. His glass skyscraper proposals celebrated transparency, structural honesty, and advanced materials. Unlike Futurism, emotional language, Mies developed a calm architectural vocabulary based on precision. Both approaches had different visual languages but a similar respect for industrial material and engineering. This comparison teaches us an important lesson. Architecture influences does not always produce similar looking buildings. Sometimes the influence exists at the level of ideas rather than appearance. Futurists encouraged architects to embrace the modern age. Mies demonstrated that this embrace could be calm, refined, and disciplined instead of dramatic. After examining how futurist idea influenced early modern architects, we now move to post-war Japan, where these ideas were transformed into one of the most innovative architectural movements of the 20th century, that is, the metabolist movement. The term metabolism comes from biology and refers to the continuous process of growth, adaptation, and renewal in living organisms. Japanese architects believed that cities should behave in much the same way. Instead of being fixed and permanent, cities should be capable of expansion, replacement, and transformation as society changes. Kisho Kurokawa and Fumihiko Maki were among the leading figures. Their proposals reflected many of the aspirations, first expressed decades earlier by Antonio Santel. They imagined architecture as infrastructure rather than static monuments. Buildings were designed as flexible systems composed of replaceable parts. Modular capsules attached to permanent infrastructure reflected changing social needs while maintaining long-term flexibility. Notice the similarity with futurist thinking. St. Elias argued that every generation should create its own architecture rather than preserve outdated forms. The metabolists adopted this philosophy but combined it with advances in engineering and prefabrication. Instead of merely drawing visionary cities, they attempted to make adaptability a practical reality. This movement also anticipates many concerns of contemporary architecture. Today we speak about modular construction, prefabricated housing, smart infrastructure, and resilient cities. These concepts all reflect the belief that buildings should evolve throughout their life cycle rather than remain unchanged by decades. In this sense, the metabolists transform futurism from an artistic vision into an architectural strategy. These ideas echo futurist belief in dynamic cities but addressed post-war reconstruction and rapid urbanization. The next example demonstrates how selected futurist principles eventually appeared in physical reality. As we study these projects, I encourage you to look beyond their appearance. Ask yourself the following questions. First, what role does technology play? How are structure and services expressed? Does the building celebrate movement and change? Does it challenge traditional architecture conventions? These questions will help us identify the continuing influence of futurism across different decades and different architectural styles. These projects should be appreciated as reinterpretations rather than literal reproductions of the original movements. Our first case study is the Nakajin Capsule Tower, completed in Tokyo in 1972 and designed by Kisho Kurokawa. This building becomes one of the world's most famous examples of metabolist architecture. The tower consists of two reinforced concrete cores, to which small fabricated residential capsules were attached. Each capsule functioned as an independent living unit and was designed to be resolved and replaced when necessary. Although this replacement process was never fully implemented, the concept itself was revolutionary. Imagine a building that could renew itself over time instead of being demolished and rebuilt. The idea directly echoes St. Alia's belief that architecture should evolve continuously with technological progress. The Nakajin capsule tower also reflected changing urban lifestyle. During Japan's period of rapid economic growth, many professionals required compact accommodation near city centers. The modern capsule offered an innovative response to this social need. Today, although the buildings has been dismantled, its influence remains significant. It demonstrated that architecture could be modular, adaptable, and industrially produced. Therefore, while the building itself no longer exists, its idea continued to shape architectural thinking. Our next example is one of the most recognizable cultural building in the world, the Centre Pompidou in Paris. It was designed by Renzo Piano and Richard Rogers. When it opened in 1977, many people were shocked by its appearance. Instead of hiding structural elements, pipes, ducts, and escalators, and machine services inside the building, the architects deliberately reversed conventional architectural organization by placing structure and services outside and enclosed spaces. Pipes, ducts, elevators, escalators, and circulation systems become visible design element instead of hiding technical equipment. This approach liberated interior spaces for changing exhibitions while celebrating infrastructure as architecture itself. Why would they do this? The answer reflects an important futurist principle. Rather than concealing technology, they celebrated it. The building itself became a visible machine. Different colored pipes identified different building systems, making infrastructure part of the architectural language. This approach completely reversed traditional architectural practice, where technical systems were usually hidden behind walls and ceilings. Another important consequence of this design was flexibility. Because services were moved outside, the interior became an open and adaptable space that could accommodate changing exhibitions and public activities. This concept of flexibility is extremely relevant today. Many intelligent buildings are designed while adaptable interiors that can respond to changing technologies and user requirements. The Central Pompidou therefore demonstrates the expressing technology openly that can serve both aesthetic and functional purposes. Its influence extends far beyond museums and continues to inspire architects designing innovation centers, airports, research facilities, and public buildings throughout the world. Another landmark project by Richard Rogers is the Lloyd's Building in London, which was completed in 1986. Like the Central Pompidou, this building expresses its technological system externally. Elevators, staircase, services shaft, and mechanical equipment are all located outside the main occupied spaces. This design approach becomes known as the inside-out building. From a practical perspective, the strategy offered several advantages. Maintenance became easier because technical systems were directly accessible. Interior office spaces remained open and flexible. Future modification could be made with minimal disruptions. These qualities are highly desirable in contemporary commercial architecture, where buildings must adapt to rapidly changing technologies and workplace requirements. The Lloyd's building also celebrates engineering as architecture. Instead of treating pipes and steel components as elements to be concealed, they become defining visual features. This reflects a broader cultural shift that can be traced back to futurist thinking. The belief that industry, machinery, and technology possesses their own aesthetic values. Today, many smart buildings expose selected technological components not only for maintenance efficiency but also to communicate innovation and transparency. Thus, the Lloyd's building represents another important milestone in the evolution of futurist principles. Richard Rogers expanded the inside out concept through Lloyd's of London. External service towers simplified maintenance and protected uninterrupted trading flows. The building demonstrated that engineering systems could shape civic identity while simultaneously increasing long term flexibility and operational efficiency. As we enter the 21st century, we can clearly see that futurist ideas have become deeply embedded within global architecture. Contemporary architects now design buildings with complex digital modeling software, advanced structure systems, intelligent facades, responsive environmental controls, and integrated smart technologies. Architects such as Renzo Piano, Rem Koolhaas, Zaha Hadid, Santiago Calatrava, Norman Foster, and Bjarke Ingels frequently created buildings that express movements, fluidity, technological innovation, and engineering sophistication. Although their architectural language differ, many of their projects embody principles first articulated by the futurists over 100 years ago. Today's intelligent buildings can monitor energy consumption, regulate indoor environmental quality, adapt lighting conditions, and interact with occupants through digital systems. These capabilities were unimaginable in St. Elias' time. Yet this vision of architecture as a dynamic technological organism appears remarkably far-sighted. This illustrates one of the most important lessons of architectural history, that ideas often emerge long before the technology become capable of realizing them. The futurists imagined cities powered by speed, infrastructure, and technological progress. Modern engineering has gradually provided the tool needed to transform many of these visions into reality. As a result, while futurism itself remained a relatively short lived movement, its intellectual influence continues to shape architectural innovation well into the 21st century. Innovative structures, mixed use programs, dramatic skylines, and expressive engineering show that architects continues exploring movement, complexity, and urban symbolism through advanced technology rather than historical imitation. So far, have explored how futurist ideas inspired architects and influenced the design of important buildings across the 20th century. However, architecture evolves not only through buildings but also through education, research, criticism, and visionary thinking. In the next part of our lecture, we will examine how futurism entered architectural theory through influential critics such as Rainer Benham, experimental group like Archie Graham, visionary architects include Cedric Price and Zaha Hadid and Paolo Soleri. Rainer Benham and his academic legitimization. One of the most influential figures responsible for preserving futurism intellectual legacy was the British architecture historian and critic Rainer Benham. Benham argued that architectural history should not focus only on completed buildings. Instead, he believed that visionary ideas, technological innovation, and experimental thinking deserve equal attention. His scholarship fundamentally changed architectural history. Through his book and academic writing, Benham reintroduced futurist architects such as Antonio Sant'Elia to new generation of students and researchers. His work helped scholars recognize that even unbuilt projects could transform architectural culture. Benham was particularly interested in the relationship between architecture, technology, and modern industrial society. He viewed buildings not simply as artistic objects, but as technological systems responding to changing human needs. This perspective has become highly influential in contemporary architectural education. Today, when students study responsive facades, intelligent buildings, environmental technologies, or digital controlled structures, they are participating in an academic tradition that values innovation as much as physical construction. Banham therefore played a crucial role in ensuring that futurism remained an active subject of architectural discussion long after the movement itself had disappeared. Next example of discussion is the British architectural group Archigram, formed during the 1960s. The member includes Peter Cook, Ron Heron, Baron Chalk, and several other visionary architects. Unlike traditional architecture firms, Archigram became famous primarily through drawings, magazines, and conceptual projects rather than completed buildings. Like the futurists before, Archigram believed that architecture should anticipate the future rather than simply respond to the present. Their proposals imagined walking cities, plug-in cities, inflatable structures, mobile housing, and adaptable urban systems. Many of these ideas directly refer Antonio Sant'Alia's visionary drawings. For example, the famous plug-in city imagined enormous structural framework into which residential, commercial, and service units could be entrusted, removed, and replaced according to changing needs. Although these proposals were never conducted, they profoundly influenced architectural education worldwide. Students discovered that architecture could function as an intellectual experiment rather than merely a construction project. Today, concepts such as modular construction, adaptable infrastructure, and flexible urban systems owe much to the speculative thinking promoted by Archicad. Drawings of plug-in city, walking city, and instead city encouraged architects to imagine flexible futures unconstrained by conventional practice. These projects reinforced the educational importance of visionary design. Cedric Critic believed that architecture should enable change rather than restrict it. Cedric Price emphasized adaptable framework capable of continual change. One of his most celebrated proposals, the Fun Palace, was conceived as a flexible cultural environment where spaces could constantly change according to user activity. Although the project was never built, its idea anticipated adaptable architecture, interactive environments, and user-centered design. Many contemporary intelligent buildings operate according to these same principles. Interior layouts can be reconfigured, environmental systems respond to occupancy, and digital technologies allow spaces to perform multiple functions. Zaha Hadid, meanwhile, pushed architecture imagination in an entirely different direction. She transformed dynamic drawings into fluid architecture form. Their work represents two different paths emerging from futurist inspiration: functional adaptability and expressive spatial movement. Hadith's curved geometry, fragmented forms, and flowing spatial composition challenged conventional architectural thinking. For many years, critics believed her projects could never be realized. However, advances in digital modeling, computational design, and structural engineering eventually made many of her vision possible. This illustrates another important lesson. Vision often precedes technology. Just as St. Elias imagined city beyond the engineering capability of his era, Hadith imagined forms that later become achievable through technological progress. Both architects demonstrate that architecture advances when imagination is allowed to move ahead of practical limitations. Paulo Solari redirected visionary urbanism towards ecological responsibility. His experimental settlement, Arcosanti, began in the 1970s in Arizona, explored the concept of archaeology, a combination of architecture and ecology. Unlike the futurists who often celebrated rapid industrialization and technological power, Solari introduced environmental responsibilities into visionary urban design. He proposed compact cities that reduced consumption, minimized transportation requirement, and encouraged suitable living. Arcoshanti therefore represents an important evolution of futurist thinking. The emphasis, the emphasis shifted from unlimited expansion to responsible urban development. Instead of asking how cities could become larger and faster, Sulari asked how they could become more efficient and environmentally sustainable. These questions remain highly relevant today. Modern smart cities seeks to integrate renewable energy, intelligent infrastructure, sustainable transportation, and efficient resource management. In my respect, Arcosanti served as an early laboratory for ideas that continue to shape urban planning in the 21st century. Examining these milestones chronologically reveals continuous evolution rather than repetition. Every generation selected different futurist principles according to changing technological possibilities and social priorities, ensuring the movement remained relevant across more than 100 years. Of course, each generation interpreted futurism differently. From Antonio Sant'Alia's visionary drawing to the work of Le Corbusier, Mies van der Rohe, and Japanese metabolist Archie Richard Rosser, and Zaha Hadid, we have followed a continuous chain of influencing spanning more than a century. Despite differences in style, geography, and historical context, these architects shared a common willingness to change convention and imagine architecture as an active participant in technological and social changes. Some adopted its enthusiasm for technology. Others embraced flexibility, modularity, infrastructure, or dynamic forms. Most rejected its more controversial political and ecological composition while retaining its creative energy and optimism about the future. This selective adaptation explains why futurism continues to remain relevant. Architecture ideas rarely survive unchanged. Instead, they evolve continuously, responding to new technologies, environmental concerns, and changing social values. As we approaches to the end of today's lecture, it is useful to set back and reflect on the broader significance of futurist architecture. Throughout this discussion, we have seen that futurism was far more than an architectural style. It was revolutionary way of thinking about cities, technology, and the future. While many architectural movements are remembered for their iconic buildings, futurism is remembered primarily for its idea. This makes its legacy unique. This slide asks an important question. Can an architectural movement achieve greatness without constructing any building? The history of futurism suggests that the answer is yes. One of its greatest strengths was that its ideas were not limited by the technology of its own time. Visionary drawings allowed architects to imagine cities that could not yet be built. Those ideas remained available for future generations, waiting for technology to catch up. Another strength was the power of speculative design. Futurist drawings act as manifesto rather than construction document. They encouraged architects to think boldly and question accepted norms. In many respects, these drawings become teaching tools that expanded the boundaries of architectural imagination. The movement also demonstrated that images can influence society as powerfully as buildings. Sant'Alia's dramatic perspectives inspired countless architects, even though the project themselves remained unbuilt. Perhaps the most enduring achievement of futurism is that it's permanently changed architectural thinking. It encouraged architects to embrace innovation, celebrate technological progress, and imagine cities as dynamic systems rather than static monuments. However, we must also acknowledge the movement's limitation. Futurism often promoted an anti historical attitude, arguing that the past should be rejected in favor of continuous renewal. While this encouraged innovation, it also underestimated the cultural and historical value of existing cities. Another criticism concerned its political association. Early futurist manifesto glorified conflict, nationalism, and aggressive modernization. These aspects are uncomfortable and cannot be separated entirely from the movement's history. There is also the danger of reducing futurism to a visual style. Contemporary buildings sometimes imitate its dramatic forms without engaging with the deeper questions about technology, society, or urban life that originally motivated the movement. Finally, some large scale urban proposals inspired by similar thinking, such as extensive demolition plans for historic system centers, demonstrated that visionary planning can produce harmful social consequences when human needs are overlooked. These criticisms remind us that architects have ethical responsibilities as well as creative ambitions. As architecture entered in the 21st century, futurist ideas underwent an important transformation. Instead of celebrating technology alone, architects increasingly recognize that innovation must be balanced with environmental sustainability and social responsibility. Today, intelligent buildings are expected to do much more than demonstrate engineering excellence. They should minimize energy consumption, reduce carbon emission, improve indoor environmental quality, respond intelligently to occupant needs, support inclusive art design, adapt to climate change. In other words, the contemporary architects must combine technological innovations with environmental stewardship and human well-being. This represents an evolution of the futurist vision. Rather than abandoning futurism, contemporary architecture has refined it. The enthusiasm for technological progress remained, but it is now guided by a broader concern for sustainability, resilience, cultural continuity, and social equity. This balance is particularly important in the design of smart building and smart cities, where digital technologies must ultimately serve people rather than simply showcase technological capabilities. As future architects, planners, or researchers, our challenge will be to ensure that innovation contributes to the more sustainable and equitable built environment. Before concluding, let us summarize the five most important legacies of futurist architecture. First, futurism transformed architectural imagination. It demonstrated the visionary thinking that can influence generations of architects even when projects remain unbuilt through the drawings that become powerful intellectual instruments. Second, it established technology as a legitimate source of architectural inspiration. Rather than hiding machinery and infrastructure, architects began to celebrate engineering, industrial material, and technological systems and integral components of design. Third, futurism encouraged flexibility and adaptability. From the Japanese metapolist to today's modular construction and intelligent building, architecture increasingly responds to changing social and technological needs rather than remaining fixed throughout its lifespan. Fourth, futurism profoundly influenced architectural education. Speculative design, conceptual projects, experimental studios, and research into future cities continue to shape how architecture is taught around the world. Finally, futurism held establish a culture of continuous innovation. Architects today are encouraged not only to solve present day problems but also to anticipate future challenges through creativity, research, and technological exploration. Together, these five legacies explain why futurism remains one of the most influential intellectual movements in architectural history, despite its relatively limited built output. Thank you for your attention throughout this lecture. Remember that architecture history is shaped not only by completed buildings but also by influential ideas capable of inspiring future generations. Thank you.